Hi, this is Katrina with Hurricane Creations, and today I'm going to tell you how I made a rolling candy basket. You can use it for whatever you want, but I have 3 kids and we needed a basket for their Halloween candy. They each carry their own bucket, but they need a place to dump it when it gets full or heavy. I was dressed as Vampirina's mom, Oksana Hotley, and my daughter was dressed as Vampirina, so making the family dog Wolfie was the best fit for us. So let's get started. I took a white laundry basket, just what I had on hand, and some spare skateboard wheels. We cut a piece of 1x6 board to fit inside the basket. While I held the board in place, my husband screwed the wheels on the bottom side of the basket and through the board. The next step I took was to make the fur. If you want to use purple yarn, I am sure that would work just as well. I chose to make the fur from mop heads that I painted purple. I used 7 mop heads and 6 little bottles of paint. I did add a little bit of water to each little bottle to rinse out the paint to maximize the amount that I got. I mixed the paint and the mop strings in the big pot with a glove to ensure that they were all coated evenly. Then they were placed flat in the sun to dry. When the strings were dry, we began to put the basket together. We covered the inside of the basket with a piece of fabric, leaving enough overhang to cover the outsides of the basket, but not enough to drag the ground. We attached the dog securely to the front center of the basket with wire ties. I cut a hole in the fabric to stick his head through and then glued the fabric around the rim of the basket. I used the dog that I had, which is a little small for the basket, but you can pick your own materials. I took 6 strings and folded them in half. I put a purple hair bow around them to hold them together. I stuck a small cake stick in the middle to give the strings shape of ears. I secured the back of the head with 2 more sticks and a wire tie. The first seemed to be a little bit heavy. I removed the tape that was around the nose from me painting it black, and I cut some shorter pieces in the front of his fur by his eyes. To make the tail, I used 8 strings. I placed a pencil in the center for support and tied it with a hair bow, and then wire tied it to the back of the basket. I cut the tail because it was too long, and then took the extra strings and glued them on top of the hair bow. It covered nicely and gave the extra layers in his tail. Next, to do the fur on the body. I cut a piece of tape as long as the sides of the baskets, and I placed it on this table sticky side up. The tape is not meant to hold the fur well, it is just meant to help with the lining up of the fur and making the gluing easier and faster. I did this for all 4 sides of the basket. Once the fur was ready, I put glue around the rim of the basket, put the fur in place, and then removed the tape. I filled in any spaces around the basket that were bare and glued any loose pieces down. I made a small strip of tape for the back of the head to cover the sticks and the wire tie. I had about 2 mop heads left over. It's better to have extra than not to have enough. Well, this is the final product, a rolling dog basket. You can use it for anything, but we used it for our Halloween candy. If you like this video or found it helpful, please hit like and then subscribe for more creations made by us. Thank you for watching, and as always, enjoy your time no matter what you choose to do.